No call was made, so
they looked the other way, I guess, that time.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I think that obviously you saw kind of both teams huddling up around their coaches. I think the referees have made it known that they don't want any more shenanigans going on.
Well, if you're Loveland, you don't want to lose a player for next week.
No, absolutely, and I think that the referees have maybe nicely taken Andrew Alton out of the game and told him, hey, you guys are up by some scores here. Why don't you just not play anymore so you can play next week? Obviously the referees don't want to take someone out during the playoffs, and maybe that's their way of doing it.
Well, it has been spirited on both sides. A lot of jawing, and really, you don't want that at any level. There's no place for it, and there needs to be as much discipline as anything in a game with this magnitude. So, in any game for that matter, but for this magnitude, and coaches don't teach it. Unfortunately, young men pick it up.
Well, I mean, obviously this is an emotional game, and part of it is keeping your emotions in check and using your emotions correctly. And, it means a lot. This is a win-or-go-home situation, and you got to feel pretty good if you're Loveland, and if you're Northwest, you're looking at possibly your season ending, and it can be frustrating for guys.
Well, they learned last week how to win.
Yeah.
A big confidence booster after losing the last two in the regular season. Tonight, they hung with this very powerful offense of Loveland for a quarter plus. And it certainly was anybody's game even into the third quarter.
Sure. Then that offensive Loveland has really kicked it into another gear, and the defense again starting to bring some pressure and really imposing their will.
Robertson up the middle, gained about 5.
Haven't seen a whole lot of him.
No, not really.
I mean, he's a guy who has had some good statistics. Obviously, I mean, he's rushed for over 165 yards a game here. Just not heard from this game.
Well, he's had 4 touchdowns on the ground, 2 during the course of the season. And the senior's going to get it, I'm sure, a couple of times here in this fourth quarter. They're going to square it out and screen it to Johnson. Where was that? in the third quarter. Darius Johnson showing his speed.
Yeah, just some quick passes to the edge. Get your playmakers in space and let them do what they want to do here. Just a simple stomp route, and you get a blocker out front. Jackson throws a nice block and pick up some yards, get the offense moving.
14 yards on the completed pass. They'll go to Robertson up the middle, and there's nowhere to run. That offensive line, and then linebacker Brian Pop finishes him off.
What's tough to block on a running play with this Loveland defense, they move around so much. They line up, they give you so many different fronts. It's so hard to identify your guy and use your blocking rules when you're trying to run the football.
Now, I've seen a lot of college football. You see a lot of college football, but Loveland's got a big playbook defensively. Roberson's not going to get out of that one. Sack behind the line of scrimmage. Junod makes the big hit.
No, I'll tell you, I mean, Loveland brings them from all different angles, and that's the big thing. You don't know, this offensive line is in a state of confusion. They don't know where the pressure's coming from, and when you can't identify it, and you don't know who's coming and who's dropping. You see right here, you got guys walk up in the line, and they're dropping back. When you see those big offensive linemen standing there blocking nobody, somebody's hitting the quarterback.
3rd and long. They'll go short side of the field, and they're not going to get anything out of that. Johnson barely gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Max Mather makes the stop on the play for the Tigers, and on 4th down, the Knights are going to give it back to Loveland.
Well, it's tough for them, obviously they just weren't able to find a rhythm there. I mean, they got in a little bit of a rhythm in the first quarter, able to get a couple scores on the board, but ever since then, just haven't been able to get, win on first down. They haven't been able to get into that 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6, 2nd and 4 situation that really opens up your playbook. They've always been playing behind the down, and that's a tough way to play.
Here's the punt, end over end, and it's going to take a nice bounce inside the 20-yard line. I should say inside the 30-yard line, and they'll mark it at the 28. So Loveland will put it in play 1st and 10 at that point. And a dominating second half here, especially defensively. They have slammed the door on Northwest, who at the half had 110 yards on 25 plays. They scored on a couple of short fields. Both teams have had a turnover.
Well, you're going to see a lot of Gunnar Gamble here, I think. They're going to just give it to the big guy and grind some clock out.
Blitz back out there. He scored the last 2 touchdowns. And this is Waddell. And he makes a cut inside and gains some positive yardage. He's covered at about the 34-yard line. Gain of 6.
Just showing patience there. Hits the corner. Cuts up. Big Andrew Alton back in the game. Catching a block on the outside. Keeps those legs moving forward 6 yards.
Tell you what, that young man may have a chance at the next level.
I think so.
The way he has got some aggressiveness to him. There's Gamble spinning away and staying on his feet, dragging tacklers for a 1st down and more. Out to the 46.
Not a lot of quitting a guy like Gunnar Gamble. You got to make sure you can bring him down. You see here just a quick belly play. Breaks it out, then cuts back inside. And bringing him down with one jersey or one arm on the jersey isn't going to work. He just keeps those legs churning and moving forward.
Well, that wrestling ability certainly helps his.
That balance helps.
Yes, it does. That balance. And people talk about more than one sport. Well, this young man right here is showing some wheels, and he is going to get in for the touchdown. 53 yards for the touchdown. And Gunnar Gamble has scored for Loveland.
Well, he can run inside, and there he shows you that he can burst and take it the distance. Just a simple dive play off the right side again. And Gunnar Gamble gets into the defensive secondary, and you thought that they were going to run him down, but weren't able to catch him.
Second time Gamble has got into the end zone tonight. He scored on a 19-yarder with 20.5 seconds to go in the first half, that is. So 44-14, make it 45-14. There was nothing fancy about that play.
I'll tell you what, it's the same play they ran before. It's a simple dive play. The offensive line comes off the ball. They were able to get to the second level, and just hard running. When you have a back that'll hit that hole hard and not give the defense a chance to get up in there, you see right there, hits the hole and no one even touches him. Turns on the afterburners, and you think someone from Northwest is going to run him down. But Gunnar Gamble, with the extra effort and the dive to get in the end zone there, great job at the end of that play. But some guys were closing in on him, maybe trying to strip the ball, but does a great job with the ball right there and gets the ball over for a touchdown.
Well, Loveland is making a statement here. I mean, they're telling the rest of the state, we're in it. We're in it for the long run. There might be a trophy waiting for us if we can finish this thing off. Now, there's a few weeks and a few hard games to go, but man, they play like